I grew up loving action movies and genre movies and watching things that really made my heart pound and my palms sweat and really being physically affected by a movie. And the idea of making something that could do that to an audience, to surprise them and engage them and move them to the edge of their seats was so exciting to me. Really, the sound design was essential, and there's so many moments in this movie where you'll be vibrating in your chair, rumbling, and the score is so at times emotional. At times we evoke the scores of Alfred Hitchcock, and a lot of the camera work is at times very expansive, at times claustrophobic, and always evolving into something that's more kinetic and visceral and exciting. I think it's a mystery, suspense thrill ride. If we made this movie in the 50s, it would have been called a suspense picture, you know? And I'm happy that it lives up to that pedigree and that it even evokes, even in title, it sounds like a Twilight Zone episode. And this movie is really one big Twilight Zone episode. The cool thing that we did was we built the set as one location. So instead of having like this room be on this stage and that room being on that stage, it was all one functional piece. So we could go from one end of it to the other. But we also made us really see it on its own terms and really feel the confinement even when we were shooting. But we did have some movable walls. So we were able to do these really intricate shots where we'd be moving the camera around a character, and then our crew would have to fly a wall out as we were moving the camera around, and then put the wall back in, and it became this really intricate choreography, but really exciting to pull off. Frankly, there was a moment when we were shooting some of the biggest action of the movie, and both Mary and I got very sick. And I felt so bad she had to run around with a 102-degree fever, and I had lost my voice. And I found I was either very inessential as a director or just really good at charades, and because I was still able to communicate what was happening, but it was really scary to have to show up to work today and not have a voice. Right, yeah, that's the fun of the movie is you never really know if he is a savior or her menace, her captor, and having it played by John Goodman, that role that is so intense and so menacing, but also at times kind of funny and quirky, and I think people will really enjoy being scared by him, and it brings a level of intensity that you don't normally get to see. The big question of what would you do, and it's such a pressure cooker in that way, and it really builds and builds and builds, and then erupts in a way that not many other movies do. So, I mean, I certainly want the movie to be as surprising as possible and not ruin anything for anyone, but it was exciting to make John Goodman's character as menacing as possible, but even as she navigates that and tries to escape, that everything from the special effects of the car crash to throughout the movie, making them as exciting and as authentic feeling and still quite scary. Yeah. Yeah, so much fun. That dinner table scene is one of my favorite scenes of the movie, and everyone brought a lot of improvisation, even though a lot of it was on the page. I think Emmett has a line about take a pilgrimage to Waco. He says to John Goodman, that came from an improv from him that I'm sure he was terrified to say to John Goodman. And Mary and Emmett really bonded, and Mary and John Geiger really bonded, and their improvs made it on screen, and Goodman too. We really worked on a lot of things, but he would suddenly grab a prop in a new way and use it differently, and it was always very exciting.